Hey everybody, and welcome to the March wrap-up. Sorry it took so long to get here. I know it's like the middle of April, even toward the end a little bit of April. In March, I got COVID, so that's why this video is delayed and after my April TBR. So that sort of made March my world record of how many books I read. I read an amazing 12 books in the month of March, so I'm like super close to my yearly goal, and I'm sure that I'll reach it in the next month or two, so I'll have to change it when I reach it, obviously. But yeah, today we're going to go through the books and their ratings and my thoughts and everything like that, what I recommend to you guys, and a bit about also the 2 challenges that I did, which was Middle Grade March and March Mystery Madness, and yeah, what I feel about both of those genres and the other things I read and everything. So yeah, kick back, relax, because there's 12 books to go through. If they're books from on my Kindle, I'll just pop like an image up beside myself. And I've got my reading journal here. I'll have to go through this one day actually, because I've done lots of changes to it, and obviously there's things in it now. So yeah, maybe like a quarter of the way through the year I can show you, or halfway through the year or whatever. Yeah, so for the month I started with one of my middle grade reads. I was super keen to get started on both of the challenges, because I wanted to see obviously if I had liked the genres, what they would like, and yeah, sort of go from there with my reading, because at the moment I'm sort of exploring everything, getting to know everything, and then seeing what genres I love to read and stuff. So yeah. So the first book was Bindi. This was a middle grade read, as I said. It met the challenge for an award-winning book. I'm not sure if it will show up, but this one is an Australian book about an Aboriginal family in the outback, and so it's won like the Queensland Award, the Australian Awards, and the Children's Australian Award and things like that. So it's very different to America and UK awards and all that kind of thing. Yeah, so this one here itself is written in verses. So it's like a nice, easy, quick read. And what did I put it as? I put it as 5 stars. Even though it's written in verse, a lot of information and a lot of feeling and a lot of story comes across in the words that were put in them. So yeah, it was a wonderful read. I totally understand why it won so many awards in Australia. It would definitely keep kids interested, and obviously as an adult reader I enjoyed it myself, so adult readers would enjoy it too. Yeah, so it was a really lovely story. So there's this Aboriginal family who lives out in the outback, and then a fire comes, and yeah, situations happen, and yeah, there's things about animals in it as well, and the environment and stuff like that, and their belief system and things like that. So it was really good. So I'm glad I picked it up. And it also met my challenge for A to Z, filling in the letter B for B. So yeah, I've got a lot of challenges happening this month in the reviews. It does get a little bit confusing. After that, I jumped to my first mystery read. And I was super keen and eager to get to my first ever Agatha Christie read. I was like so keen to do it and super excited. So the one I chose to read was Death of the Nile, obviously by Agatha Christie. This was my first ever Agatha Christie read, and I absolutely loved every moment of it. Her writing style is really nice. I gave this one 5 stars as well. I loved the story because it was really captivating, and I actually watched the movie as well. Obviously things like this, the book is always gonna be a bit better, but it was nice to see it in picture format as well after I read it. I used to be that person where I read the book after I watched the movie, but now my view has changed. I read before I watch the movie. Excuse me, coughing. I still have this awful cough and it just won't go away. But I'm gonna be doing things. So yeah, it met the March Mystery Madness prompt of classic, cozy, which is prompt 3, because Agatha Christie is a classic mystery author. So, and it also met my challenge from A to Z for the letter D. So yeah, highly recommend Agatha Christie and that book. I'm super keen to read more from her, from that experience, definitely. So then I went to a book on my Kindle. A lot of my middle grade reads were on Kindles and things like that. So yeah, I'll listed a picture. It was called Nuclear Winter. And it was to meet the sci-fi and dystopian prompt for middle grade March. I personally gave this story 2 stars. I thought it was extremely heavy for kids to read. It started off really nicely with like all the robotronic stuff in their excursion and everything like that. But after the nuclear bomb went off, I thought it was very heavy, and even though the kids managed to get found and saved and stuff at the end, obviously it's going to end nicely because it's a kid's story, so it's not a spoiler. I thought it would have been nicer to have like one of the adults, some sort of adult with them, guiding them along their thinking of how to survive instead of them totally being alone, because that's a lot to take on board for a kid. And in real life, there's going to be, in those situations, always adult people, you know, like helping people medically, helping people survive through whatever the situation is. So yeah, I just thought it was extremely heavy for kids, and that's why I popped the rating way down. And yeah, there was just a real heavy topics, real emotional topics, of course, that I thought was way too much for kids to read about. Obviously there's huge massive things in life, but to me personally as a kid, that would really get to me. like a real emotional sort of person, and big topics really hit me hard. So if I was a kid reading this book, yeah, I would like seriously need some cancelling or something, because it was really, really heavy. But the robotics element, the sci-fi element, of them going on an excursion and having a competition and everything, that part of the story at the start was awesome. Like, I thought, oh yeah, we're in for a good ride. Yeah, and I sort of personally would have finished it a little bit earlier, but anyway. So I met Middle Grade March Challenge number 2, Sci-Fi Dystopian, and it also met my A to Z challenge for the letter N in Nuclear Winter. So yeah, I've had really awesome reads and some dodgy reads as well within this experience. And with the 2 challenges as well, I'll give a brief overview, future plans and things like that, how I felt about each genre. So my next read was a mystery thriller, and I was super keen to get into this. It's 5 Survive by Holly Jackson. This was my first Holly Jackson read, and this was amazing. I read this super quickly, like in like 2 sittings. Yeah, like I started it one day, finished it the next day. So it was like the quickest book I've ever read in my life, and it was just so like fast paced, and you know how thrillers, like you want to keep knowing what's happening. It had that vibe really, really nice. So I gave it 5 stars, and I'll definitely read more by Holly Jackson. I've got on my shelf, I'm not sure if you can see, but I've got the Murder series that she wrote, so hoping to get into that, because I didn't get to the first one in March. Yeah, so it was very suspenseful, and there's lots of twists in it, which were very surprising. Of course, I highly recommend. And yeah, it was amazing. I put it under F for my A to Z challenge, and obviously it met my March mystery madness challenge for the thriller mystery read, prompt number 1. So yeah, I loved this book, highly recommend it. Out of all my books, there's 2 that I probably, or 3 that I recommend. Agatha Christie, that one, and an upcoming one. But yeah, that was an awesome read, loved it. Okay, the next one was a book from middle grade. It's this super cute one here called Oda. This one as well is written in verses. Yeah, I gave this one 4 stars. It was a really nice read. It had beautiful illustrations in it as well, because obviously you can see by the cover how stunning it is. But also inside there's like stunning drawings as well. I'm not sure if you will see, feel free to zoom. Yeah, it was just to just sit there and admire the illustrations work. It was really nice. It was illustrated by Charles Santosa. I would definitely share this with kids. It's got a lot of like saving and rescuing animals, and the process that happens in aquariums and stuff like that, and trying to release them and stuff like that. Like this, it's a really good story in that way. Plus cute. So I met the middle grade March number 3, Sky and Sea on the cover, both, and it also met the letter O for A to Z. So out of my middle grade reads, I probably recommend this one the strongest, I would say. As well as the next one that I read. So I kept going with middle grade next, and I read Rocho, which on my Kindle, Kylie and the Quokkas of Rockness Island. If you're from overseas, Rockness Island is an island in Australia, and quokkas are one of those animals that live on those islands. So obviously it's an Australian author and everything. It was nice actually to find some Australian authors and read by them too. This one I gave 5 stars. I really enjoyed it from the word go to the ending. It was just a really great read. It was full of nature, the cute quokkas of course, adventure and bravery, and it was just really great, the story. Definitely recommend for kids and adult readers too. I actually found out there was a bit of a series with Roto and Kylie and their adventures. So yeah, if I need a quick read sometimes, I would definitely go and read another one. It met letter R of my A to Z challenge, and for middle grade it met prompt 3 as well, the same as Otto, with this guy and the scene on the cover, which you'll see in the image. So yeah, another definitely recommended one. This next one also is recommended. This is from the March Mystery Challenge, and it fit the cleaning theme to a T. And that was The Maid. I'm so glad I bought this book. I really loved it. 5 stars. It was very suspenseful. It had twists in it, and overall I just really loved the story. It was really well written, and yeah, definitely recommend reading it. It's really good. It matched my prompt 3 for leather cleaning up for the March Mystery Challenge, and I definitely recommend this one as well. Oh, we're getting there. So next up, I read a book on my Kindle for middle grade March, meeting the prompt of neurodiversity. If you don't know what neurodiversity means, it's about something to do with the functioning of the brain. So it could be a child with autism, ADHD, what else? Anything physical that kids could be seen, unable to, talk and think and things like that. That sort of mistaken identity sort of stuff. Yeah, so anything to do with a brain of a person is neurodiversity and the challenges that they face. I chose a lovely story on my Kindle called The Colors of Our Mind. It's about a little boy with autism, and it was so interesting just to read that story, to gather an understanding of what goes on in a person's head, in a child's head of course, with autism. And it's very interesting. Very interesting, and it was really lovely to read it, to get that perspective. To me, it just needed a squeeze bit more at the start about his father and how their relationship was at the start, as well as his nan and mum and things like that. I thought I was a bit sort of rushed into the story. That background would have been nice because something happens to his dad in the story, and then, you know, he's feeling all these feelings, but it would have been nice to know, like, how big he was in his life, and how their relationship was awesomely built and why he felt that way. Same with his nana, because his nana ends up coming different days, which throws his routine off. And yeah, just to know a bit more about that as well at the start would have been nice. So a bit more background information, I guess you could say. Before I go on, I did give it 4 stars. It was a really good read. So yeah, it met the middle grade March month 4, which was neurodiversity, and I did really enjoy this read because it was very interesting. It sort of jumped from what was happening in his real life to like what was going on in his mind story as well. Yeah, and it was very, very interesting. If you're into that thing, I definitely recommend it. Okay, the next book was a read from a book club that I'm a part of called the Planner Friends Book Club, which is an Australian-based book club that has just started up that I'm a part of. And the book for March was The Roommate by Rosie Denning. I gave this book 3 stars. It was quick to read. It was, yeah, it was written pretty well. But to be honest, I pushed myself to read this book. It was just, for me as a person, it was just way too spicy. I don't mind some spice in books, but this was just like way over the top. Way too much. And I think they need to put somewhere on the book that there is, you know, like they do in movies, like with ratings and stuff, put a bit of a warning and a spice rating of some sort somewhere on the book, books that they have spice. Because, yeah, I just got uncomfortable in a lot of parts. Yeah. So it wasn't my cup of tea because there was way too much spice. I do enjoy spice when it's a little bit a part of the story and the relationship, but as long as there's like a really good storyline. So a really good example of one that I did enjoy with a bit of spice is The Fine Print and November 9, those kind of ones. But this was just so full on and way too much for me to handle. And I think it came down to the fact that one of the characters had like a job in that area, so there was that element as well as the relationship element, and then the story built to something to do with that, and then yeah, it was just too full on. Yeah, so it just wasn't for me. To me it took a long time for the character build up as well to toward chapter 10 to 20 in there it started to build on the characters. The first 10 chapters it just wasn't happening at all in that regard. Overall it was just way too much for me. I did mark it 3 stars because it was a quick read and it was trying to achieve something for me, but it just didn't. Yeah, and I can see how others would enjoy it, and if you do like that kind of thing, then so be it. But yeah, for me personally, it was just way too much, and I would just stick to things that have a bigger storyline that isn't sexual orientated or spice orientated, with other stuff going on. Yeah. Anyway, enough about that. I think I've got 3 more books. Yeah. So the next one I actually listened to as an audiobook because I couldn't find a copy at the library or any shop or anywhere. So yeah, I ended up listening to The Hunting Party as an audiobook. I usually love Lucy Foley stories. I loved the guests list and I loved the Paris apartment. But The Hunting Party, I couldn't get into it. So I only gave it 1 star. I just couldn't connect to any of the characters. I couldn't connect to the story. Yeah, it was a shame because as I said, I've enjoyed other ones of her books. This met the Mystery Madness Challenge Prompt 4, which is a repeat author or a book. So, being only a new reader, Lucy Foley was sort of my only mystery thriller sort of author that I had read. So that's all I had to fall back on for this time. But yeah, it was disappointing. But then things jumped back up with the next couple of reads. Well, this one anyway. This next one was a ebook read. I had to get it as an ebook. I decided to get the group read for Middle Grade March, which is a Rover's story. I'll put a picture up, of course. This story was really good, actually. I didn't think I would like it, but it was really, really well done. I actually gave it 5 stars. It was the last read for Middle Grade March, so a good way to end. It was for the prompt released within the last year, and it was written well, it was enjoyable, and kids would definitely love it, for sure. At first I sort of had that movie Wall-E in my head, but it was very, very different. Okay, so the last book that I read in March was sort of a bonus book because I had so much time on my hands sitting in bed with COVID. So yeah, I read the other Agatha Christie book that I selected at the start of March, which was The Floating Emerald. I didn't realize that other authors were co-written in the story. They co-wrote it, so that threw me. And the story was okay though, so I gave it 3 stars. Like, the story kept me reading. It was interesting enough to keep rolling. But yeah, it was different. Definitely thrown by the fact that it was co-authored, and Agatha Christie herself only writes 1 chapter in the whole book of chapters, which was very long, by the way. It was, let me see, it's a lot of appendices at the back of this book. This chapter, so I can tell you what number it is. I can't tell because it's in Roman symbols. But yeah, 1 chapter out of the whole book, it was disappointing because I was really looking forward to another Agatha Christie read. But I managed to read it. I personally wouldn't recommend this, not just because it's co-written by other authors, but the story got a bit repetitive as well. Yeah, but it was nice to read it as an extra read and to fill in some time before I got to my April stuff. Which of course you'll have to wait on. So yeah, that was amazing getting through 12 books. Obviously COVID assisted with that. But yeah, hopefully I can up the amount of books in future months as well. I set a high TBR for the month of April and we'll see how that goes number wise. But yeah, I'm definitely headed toward my 30 goal and I should reach that. And then have to change it, I'm pretty sure. But yeah. Comment below what you guys love to read in March. I would love to hear. Would be nice too. Stay tuned for my upcoming videos. There is my March book haul. You would have got a sneak peek of some of those in my April TBR. So yeah, March haul. There'll be some April hauls as well for books. And then of course there'll be May's TBR and things like that. I would like to do a weekly vlog again too of a bookish life. So yeah, stay tuned for that as well. I just haven't done one yet since the first one because I've been really sick and stuff. So yeah, that is coming, definitely. But thank you for joining me today, guys. Please thumbs up, subscribe, all that sort of thing. And I'll catch you all next time for our book fun.